Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 82. When you want to give up, listen to this to manifest a positive shift in your energy field. So no matter what's going on right now, whether you had a huge blow up in your life, your whole life just blew up, whether it's just boredom, whether it's just, complacency, just feeling like there's got to be some sort of change going on because you're unhappy with where you are, wherever you are, this is the show to help you shift it. This is the show that's going to help you to create something new in your energy field so that you can start to create something new. So this kind of comes on the heels of yesterday. And I always love to share where I'm at and the things that I'm realizing because I think it's helpful. I think when I had the idea to do this show, it was to be super real and super authentic with you and to let you know about my struggles and the fact that I am human. And yes, I have a lot of answers. I've got this universal law stuff coming through me. So passionately. And I have done a lot of study and a lot of research, and I've done a lot of processing on my own journey that I feel like is helpful for you. So I like to share everything raw and real. So yesterday was Sunday, and Sundays can tend to be a little bit of a struggle for me. My husband a lot of times can work in the office at home, and I can be doing stuff around the house and just feel a little shaky about Monday. So I'm coming off of like 3 solid weeks of being with people. So I started with my retreat on September 21st and rolled into family. We were in a beach house in Newport, and then we had family with us. My daughter left on this past Friday. So I've literally been surrounded about 3 weeks with people and managed to get some meditations in here and there, managed to stay mostly alcohol free, which I'm super duper proud of. There were a few days that I had a glass of wine at the very end, and I felt like that was like my congratulations on making it through an entire vacation beach house trip with a lot of family members and not drinking, and then just decided that it was okay to release a little bit and just to have a glass of wine, which I had one. And that was great. And there's a huge thing going on right now in the 1 year no beer community. And that is a community that I'm super supportive of and I love. And it's one of the reasons why I've been able to change my relationship with alcohol. I have, it's been probably a good 5, 6, maybe 10 years that I've been working on this relationship with alcohol. And I think a lot of people will look at me and be like, why the heck don't you just give it up? And I know there are people that think that about me. And the truth is, I have enjoyed this process, and I've done a lot of work on, understanding where my addictions come from and, am I even really addicted to this, or is it an addictive substance? And would my life be better without it? There's all these questions out there, and giving alcohol up to me up until now has never really felt like I wanted to do that. So I've worked on moderation. I've had some slippery slopes. I've realized that maybe I don't have control over it sometimes. And then I come back to, I just feel better without it. So, but it's okay. Like the whole process is freaking K. Like if you decided one day, like my daughter, I'm not going to drink again. She's 2 years sober. That's awesome. Like go for it. For me, it's been a different process. It's been a different journey. And I think because of that, I can be super helpful to people that are going through the process as well. I think when people just give it up in one fell swoop and they're really successful at it, it's amazing. But then it's a little more challenging to offer advice to people who haven't quite had that success. So I think that's part of the process, and part of what I'm coming to realize about myself is that the journey is the journey, and we get to decide how we want to navigate it and what works for us. And there's this huge thing that's happening right now called mindful drinking. And are you able to, enjoy a glass of wine here and there? And for people who are super hard-lined and never drank and look at alcohol as poison, that's a hell no for them. I understand that. But that has never been my belief system. My belief system has always been, can I have it all? Can I have my cake and eat it too? And so I'm still working on this, and I'm better than I've ever been. And I think when you're looking to get rid of something out of your life, when you're looking to let go of an addiction, when you're looking to improve your life, it is really easy to look at what you're doing and to beat yourself up because you haven't necessarily gotten to where you want to go. And if you're consistently doing that, you're going to find yourself in depression. You're going to find yourself in that rabbit hole very often, and you're going to find yourself a victim of the shitty committee. I have a whole episode on the shitty committee, which is that voice inside your head that beats you up for doing things that you said you no longer wanted to do, or beats you up for not, achieving your goals or not accomplishing what you want to accomplish. It's so, it just defies the whole process of learning and growing and becoming more on this journey. It really holds you back when you allow those stories to get the best of you and to tell you that you're no good, and to tell you that just to keep you down when you're feeling like you didn't do and you didn't stay, didn't keep a promise to yourself. It's really a frustrating path. So that's been part of my process, is letting go of that, beating myself up, not feeling good enough, and having doubts. So yesterday, I could feel myself, and this is really good if you can come to this awareness for yourself. I could feel myself kind of overlooking the rabbit hole. We all know the rabbit hole, right? We go down there, we feel awful, we feel like not good enough, and we, create this mood and this intentions of doubts. And it's basically you being separated from your inner being, because you're not looking at life from higher consciousness. You're not looking at your life from your inner being, from your truest, most natural self. You're looking at yourself from all your old stories, all your old beliefs, all the things that have happened to you that have traumatized you and made you feel less than. So I have a habit of doing this, and I know it, and I'm fully aware of it. And because of that, I was able to kind of teeter over that rabbit hole and kind of look down and decide for myself if I wanted to go into that hole or if I wanted to rise above it. And that's what I did yesterday. I rose above it. And what I started to do is I started to notice, where the thoughts were, where they wanted me to go. First of all, I meditated. I always meditate to reset myself. Meditation is the greatest way to get into zero state. Having a little trouble with words today. Good Lord. Zero state awareness is because I have so much to say. It's like I just got to say it really fast. Zero state awareness, where you will rise into higher consciousness, which is a higher vibrational place where all these lower fields do not live. So the thoughts that you allow, the thoughts that you give permission to, the thoughts that you expand upon and tune into, just like a radio station, those are going to become more. And before you know it, you're going to be in the bottom of that hole going, I have no idea how I got here and I don't know how to get out. So the best thing you can do is catch yourself before you go in there and notice what the triggers are that cause you to be set up for that. So some of my triggers can often be like, right now I'm in between projects. Well, today I got some new excitement about some new projects, but when I'm in between those projects and I don't have things that I'm working on, it can get a little dicey for me, and I can get into some doubts about, do I have a business, and how am I making money, and what am I creating? So that has definitely been a trigger for me in the past, especially. And the fact that I am home pretty often and alone pretty often, not recently, but all of a sudden, like today, I can tend to go to those places. So figure out what your triggers are. Journal about it. Ask yourself, why do I keep going to this place that derails my progress? Because that's what it does. So instead of doing that, I decided to rise higher, and I actually started to clean my house. And my house has been a little cray because we had a lot of people here and a lot of things in disarray. So I still had like blankets and sheets and laundry and things kind of piled up all over the place, and things weren't super organized, and it was dirty. Like the floors were dirty. I had to, put off the cleaning ladies for a few weeks because I've had company. So I decided that taking my power back meant I was going to spend a little time cleaning instead of going ham on my business. Like, I don't like to go after my business stuff when I'm feeling like that. When I'm feeling, I get to feel like a little desperation, like I got to figure out what I'm doing next. I don't know why this is, but we have a really hard time being, right? Like we're human beings, we're not human doings. And we have a really hard time just being, just allowing ourselves to be and allowing the next thing to come. So I'm listening to my intuition. And mind you, this is an important segue. I'm working on a big writing project right now. I actually have two writing projects that I'm working on. And I started reading Julia Cameron's life story called Floor Sample. And that is the writer. She was the author of Artist's Way. And a client of mine, one of my retreat participants, shared this with me, and I automatically just ordered her book. And there's been so many similarities between her life and my life and what I'm doing right now on this project. And so I started doing the morning pages, which is basically just every day you write 3 pages, just 3 pages. And it can be a project, it can be journaling, it can be whatever you want it to be. So for me, I'm writing this project, and it's a really great momentum to get into because by the end of 30 days, you have 90 pages written. So I'm like 30 something pages in, and I've literally written 3 pages every single day, even on vacation, because I've been waking up super early. And so I am doing stuff, right? Like that 3 pages a day makes me feel really good because I'm getting something done. I'm getting something accomplished. And that is our human condition, to believe that we have to get something accomplished to feel like we are good enough, to feel like we are doing something in the world and contributing and not just being. And that is a condition I think that sometimes can really be a disservice to us, because if we don't learn how to be, if we're always running around, if we're always, giving into addictions, if we're always shopping, if we're always watching TV, if we're always on social media, if we're always in this level of stimulation, we don't have an ability to really create, because we don't have time for that zero state awareness. We don't have time for inspirations because we're running on the hamster wheel so long and so strong and so fast. So for me, yesterday, I felt really strongly like the first thing that I can do that would really make me feel good is just to clean the house, like to get the house in a super great place where when I look around, I feel good. Like I feel like things are not out of control. That's helpful for me, because if I start diving into business when the house is out of control, everything's going to spin out, because that's the frequency that I'm tuned into. So if your surroundings are not of a peaceful, calming place, Feng Shui, I say Feng Shui, I don't really follow the science of Feng Shui or the art of Feng Shui, but I do in the way that everything that's around me feels good. My furniture is placed where I like it. My pictures are hung where I like them. Everything around me feels good. So I don't have a lot of clutter. I don't have a lot of mess. I like the counters to be wiped clean. I like things in their places, and that's what makes me feel good. If you're not a super organized person and you think that messes are like okay, I would challenge you on that. I would challenge you to do a little bit of organizing and see if it makes a difference as far as your life, because I really feel like our home is a reflection of how we feel inside. And I've seen it. I've seen it with my girls. I've seen it with other people. They feel so much better when we know where things are, when we don't have a whole bunch of crap around us. Everything is energy. So you have to remember that. So the first thing I did was I cleaned the house. Then I meditated. I talked to my husband about some of my challenges in my business. I was messaging with someone on Facebook, and actually the messaging with someone on Facebook, which what was really kind of tripping me up because it was making me second guess myself and what I was doing. It was someone who was, looking to get my business because, are you doing things right? Are you really creating? I've had some hiccups in some of the stuff that I've been doing and some of the stuff that I've been paying for. So there's a reshift in all of that. I found out that my book title was spelled wrong. Oof, yeah, that one was rough. So Mindful Manifestation Secrets went out about a month ago. Maybe, yeah, about a month ago. I've sent lots of copies. If you have one, it's probably spelled wrong. Ouch. So my neighbor texted me. This was actually the day that I had a glass of wine, which could have been a trigger. Like I'm tracking my triggers, right? And she texted me and she said, "Hey, I think your book title is spelled wrong." And I was like, holy moly. And the cool thing about it is it was an indication of the energy field, because I was having some second guesses about what I've been doing in promoting my book and promoting my business and the amount of money that I'm putting towards it. So it was good in that respect. Like if I'm watching the energy field, it's telling me where to go next. So I contacted the person who created it, and it's all fixed and everything now. If you have a book, I've sent you a book and it really bugs you that it's spelled wrong, contact me. I've got some new ones coming on order. I can resend you a book out. I was mortified. I was mortified. And why was I mortified? Because of perfectionism, right? Like that's, if I really got to the base of it, it's like trying to make myself look perfect in the world. So it's kind of perfect that this happened, because I always like to look real and authentic, and shit happens and people spell things wrong and whatever. Like, am I really going to let that derail what I'm doing and make me feel less than? It didn't make me feel less than. It made me feel like what I'm putting my money towards and what I'm doing may need some looking at, may need some readjustment. And that's a good thing to know. So I didn't beat myself up for not catching it. In fact, some of my greatest grammar friends and my husband, who's always on stuff like that, nobody caught it. So whatever, it is what it is. And it happened. And now I have to recalibrate. But because that happened, I am taking a step back from everything that I'm doing and saying, okay, what is creating abundance? What is creating flow? What is really creating the currency that I'm looking to create in this next chapter of my life? And so that needed to be addressed. So holy crap, shit happens and we just deal with it, and we got to move on and we got to move forward. And that's what I'm doing now, in recognizing that life is this beautiful journey. It's this journey that we get to take part on. And whether you're working on an addiction, or you're working on a business, or you're working on relationships, whatever it is that you're working on, there's going to be ebbs and flows to that. There's going to be times when you're really busy and you're really connected and you're feeling really good. And then there's going to be times when you're in a little bit of the problem energy and you've got to recalibrate and take your power back. And those moments when you're in contrast, when you're in deep challenge, maybe you're in depression, those moments are super valuable, because they allow you to get redetermined. They allow you to realign and refocus. And so whatever has happened up until now, the great news is it's over, baby. Whatever you're experiencing right now has been created actually in the past. The future begins now, this second, right now, right here, right now, begins right now, by how you believe and how you feel. So if for the last, let's say 10 or 20 years, you have thought less of yourself, you have not created what your desire, what your heart is calling you to, that's how you know if the mind consistently talks you out of something and it keeps coming back. I had someone recently reach out to me and I offered to do a session with them. I'm not really doing sessions anymore, but I was really feeling called to do this. And they came back and said, you know what, I'm just not ready yet. I don't feel ready yet. And I said, no worries, like no problem. That's, you've got to really hear this from your heart. And if your heart keeps calling you to it, don't let your mind talk you out of it. So if there's something that you've been wanting to do over the last, 10, 20, 30 years, and it won't leave you alone, that's how you know it's a desire of the heart and not just some airy-fairy idea that your mind has just popped in there. There's a reason why you keep having that desire. There's a reason why you're unhappy now, because you're not creating that desire. And the answer always is to start activating the energy. So when you begin, it's funny, yesterday my husband made a really profound statement of the law of attraction. The last part of that word is action. So you've got to put some action into play, and action will always take you out of doubt, and it will always help you to feel better. So because I know this, I only have to do a few things to start feeling the flow of energy again. So today when I woke up, I did my 3 pages. I did my morning pages, which always makes me feel great. And I went out in nature. That's something else I've added to my schedule, and I am in love with it. I'm absolutely in love with it. You can look up 9KM by 9 a.m. with Nigel Jones. Nigel and I will probably be doing more stuff together because I just adore him and everything he's doing. He is sober. He's been sober, I think, for 16 months. He's a total inspiration to me. He wrote Walking Back to Happiness, but he talks about nature and just getting out there. And I don't do it for exercise. I do it to engage with nature. Let me tell you what you're doing when you engage with nature. You're getting out of your head. You're looking up at the trees. You're looking at the beauty. You're recognizing that you are more than just this human body when you put yourself in a state of well being and nature. It changes you. I promise you. Do it for a week, 30 minutes. That's all you need. Put yourself in nature. One thing I've noticed, I actually found this new path near my house that I forgot about, and it's great. It's like this cute little park, and then it goes into the woods, and there's tons of bikers, mountain bikers. We have a lot of mountain bikers here, and people walking. And I usually like to kind of be by myself and kind of get into my own little space. But lately, what I've noticed is incredibly friendly and beautifully happy people, and people smiling and saying good morning. And it feels amazing. So that human connection is also really important, that we're probably missing when we're out in the world because people are so distracted and so in business mode. So get out in nature. That's a really good way to get yourself out of depression. All right, so I'm going to jump into the show, and we're going to talk about all the ways you may be feeling that you want to give up, right? Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I just want to give up. Okay, so that feeling right there, that I want to give up, I've had enough, nails in the coffin, we call it. So if you don't do anything about it, it's okay, because the universe will give you more reasons to feel that way. And it will give you probably enough of a strong enough desire to actually change what you're doing. And that's good. So the worse you feel right now, the better things are going to get. I promise. I've been there. I get it. I totally get it. And sometimes I revisit it. Like yesterday, I almost had a tiny little revisit. And then I went, oh yeah, that's right. I create my own reality. I wake up in the morning and decide what I'm going to do. I have the ability to change the way I feel. So therefore, I have the ability to change the way my life plays out. And the way you feel is everything. The feeling is the manifestation. So it is everything, the way you feel. So you feel down, you feel depressed, you feel doubtful, your life isn't going in the direction you want, especially if you are a stay-at-home mom. Holy crap, did I have some dark days as a stay-at-home mom. I wish I knew this stuff when I was momming so hard. I wish I knew this stuff. What happens when we stay home with our families, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, sorry, because that is definitely something that's going on these days. When you stay home with little children all the time, the ability that you have to manifest from your power gets real low. Think about it like your gas tank. It gets super low, because what you're doing is you're taking care of people constantly, and you're taking care of little people that don't necessarily care about the way you feel, right? So in that, you can get very lost. You can lose your identity. You can feel like, I used to tell people all the time, I'm just a mom, right? That, I'm just a mom. All I'm doing is momming all the time. It's so, it's so dense. It's such a dense thing to wake up every single day to this little creature who could be angry, could be upset, could be happy, could be crying, could be pooping. I mean, you just don't know what they're going to do, right? So if you are a mom, which is one of the dad, stay at home, most important job, I think, in the universe, honestly, is raising these little beings, allowing them to become more. My advice to you is to find something outside of that. And if you don't have the money and you don't have the babysitters, figure it out. Hand them over to your spouse, your husband, your wife, your partner. If you're alone, if you're a single mom or a single dad and there is absolutely no help, you've got to look for family or friends to just give yourself a little gift. If you can't do it every single day, a couple days a week of doing something for you, whether it's self-care or some kind of creative project. Creative projects are great because, just like these morning pages, getting up a little bit earlier so you can get your meditation in. This is what I used to do. I would get up really early and I would meditate and journal. And I would also meditate during their naps, because that was my survival. That's how I reset myself. I recalibrated and I came back to the world a better place. I would never do housework when they were napping, because I was doing housework all day long. Like I needed a break when they were napping, and I would do things that would fill me up. And then after the day is done, put your babies to bed early. Good Lord. If I had anything to tell you, any advice to tell anybody, get those babies in bed early so that you have a couple of hours at the end of the day to look forward to where you can just be and you can just be you and you don't have to be mom or dad. So if you are in that position and you're feeling super down and super low, you've got to reach out other people, moms groups. I was a part of a lot of different moms groups. I was part of a Bible study group. All these things had childcare. I ran Bible study groups at the time. We were Catholic. We were in the Catholic Church. So we did a ton of stuff in the church, volunteer community. Being and getting out with people is so important. You can create a moms group yourself and do it at each other's houses. That kind of stuff was my lifeline. Absolutely. When my kids were little, without a doubt. So if that's where you find yourself and you're finding yourself kind of lost and depressed, I would look for some sort of creative endeavor that you can do. Now, if you sit here and you say consistently, and this is for moms, dads, and everyone in between, if you consistently say, I don't have the time and my time is never mine and I can't do anything right now, and you keep yourself in this self-imposed prison, you will never attract the time. You will never create the time. You will never receive the time because you have a belief system that works against that. So you have to create the time. I also used to get up early and go to the gym. I would literally pump breast milk, leave it for my husband, and go to the gym. Like that's how important that me time was to me. And it was a lifeline. And there were many, many years, and that's why I speak to this today. There were many, many years that I was lost and depressed and lonely. I remember winters that I stayed in my sweatpants and every day ran into the next, and I felt like I was going to go crazy. You have to do something to change that if that's where you're at and if that's what you need to do. Now, as far as, those others of you that are out there feeling depressed and uninspired and like you want to give up, the truth of the matter is everything is frequency. Everything is a radio station that you are tuning into. So just like things that we see, like dramas that play out on social media or different groups and things like that, those dramas are being focused upon. And what happens is people gravitate to drama because it makes them feel something. And, it creates maybe even a connection for people when they feel some sort of drama. So if you don't want drama in your life, if you don't want to feel uninspired and you don't want to feel depressed, you have to take the things out of your thought process and your emotional field that are creating more of that. So if you have people that you talk to and they bring you lower, let's put them on pause for a little bit. It's okay. You can do that. Taking some time for myself. Some boundaries are really good. If you have some shows you're watching, like the news or some depressing things that are making you feel lower, people, you know how you feel. And what you're tuning into creates more of that. Vibration is everywhere. Music is vibration. If you're listening to music that is making you feel sad or depressed or angry, there is vibrational energy in music. So protect your field. Make sure you're listening to things that are uplifting, inspiring. Make sure you're listening to things that remind you of who you are, not telling you that you are less than. If you've got people on your social media that are consistently making you feel yucky. I know a lot of people that have jumped off of Facebook, and one of the main reasons that they jump off of Facebook is because it doesn't make them feel good. They look at these people's happy lives and then they're texting with them about wanting a divorce, and I get that. But this is the thing. If we look at something and it evokes an emotion of jealousy, or it evokes an emotion of resentment, or why can't I have that, right? If it evokes that desire and you go in the opposite direction of that desire. So if you're jealous and you're not happy for people and you're going in the opposite direction, you're believing that you can never create that. When I always tell people, if there's something in your field and you see it and you're attracted to it, it's something that you want. If you let go of that lack, misery, and jealousy, you will actually shift into creating that for yourself. So it's all about how you feel. Now, if you're consistently seeing people on Facebook and they're irritating you and they're frustrating you and maybe they're negative, let's clear the field of that stuff. You don't have to allow it. There's this little like unfollow button on Facebook where you don't have to unfriend people. You can just unfollow them, or you can get off Facebook altogether. I personally like social media for the connection. I run businesses on there. It's a way for me to channel and to allow people to hear what I have to say every single day. But if it doesn't work for you, maybe it's time to take a little break. I know there was a study done recently about this. It was like a college kid and he was super depressed and he wasn't feeling healthy and his grades were suffering and he was in a really bad place, and they put him on a 30-day cleanse of social media and all, I think, video games as well, like everything that was like computer based, and he like came out of his depression. And I think there's a lot to be said for getting out and living life and not being so addicted to these devices and social media. So if you're feeling that there's a little ebb in your flow right now, I want you to know that it's good, that it's okay, that it's part of your process, that it's part of activating more desire. Now, if you're waking up consistently every single day and you're in this low vibe feeling, then you have an addiction to it and you're set at a level that's going to continue to create this depression. And a lot of the things you're telling yourself, like, why do I feel this way? I shouldn't feel this way. How am I going to get out of this depression? How do people live life? I just want to give up. Remember, whatever you're tuning into, whatever you're allowing, whatever you're giving permission to in your thoughts is creating more for you. So you've got to change that. You've got to get up and decide, I'm going to feel different today. I'm going to do the things I love today. I'm going to do and feel the things that I enjoy today. And if you're surrounded by little ones, get them involved in that. What do we want to do? What would be fun today? I started doing Fun Fridays a long, long time ago, and it came on the heels of momming all the time. And I was very blessed. I lived in a home at the time in Connecticut, and we had a swimming pool. So I offered my swimming pool to all my friends on Fridays, and I called it Fun Fridays. Well, fast forward like 10 years, I'm here, we're at the heels of COVID, and I'm talking to a friend and we're just deciding, hey, like we need to create some fun here. This world is going down and we don't want to go down in the ship. So we created Fun for Fridays, and we've invited people and we have a great time and we do what we love. And it's something to really look forward to every week. So if you don't have that, you can create it, and you can create it with little monkeys. You can invite other little monkeys over. You can do things that activate that fun and freedom within yourself, within your own life experience. But you got to start asking those questions. You can't just get up every day and say, life sucks and, I'm not going anywhere. You've got to decide that you're going to create something different, whether it's a project, whether it's a play date, whether it's just getting out with other moms, whether it's a night out with your partner. Date night. Hello. We got to look forward to date night. Get dressed up. Feel good about yourself. Those are super duper important if you're in a relationship, and especially if you have kids. And you know what? It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It absolutely doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can go to the beach, or if you're not near the beach, you can go to a mall. I mean, you can do anything to connect. You can go eat fast food. I'm not a big proponent of fast food, but you can go sit in the car somewhere in a beautiful scenery and connect and just get away from the everyday minutia. If you're not doing that in a partnership, it's really challenging to stay connected if you're not doing that together. If you're not spending that quality time together and that intimate time together. My husband and I just came off of 3 weeks of people, and I definitely was feeling the lack of our connection, even though we enjoy people and we have a good time together. That intimacy that we share, we definitely got back to yesterday, and just sharing how we're feeling and what's going on, and just really checking in with one another, where we're not so like narcissistic and just like sharing how we feel over, we're really connecting and asking one another, hey, where are you at with this? And where are we at with this? And what's going on with your business? And what's going on with my business? It's a beautiful exchange of energy that will help you to feel like you're not alone. And it's really important if you're in a partnership, in a relationship, because time can go by, and so much time can go by that you end up being roommates. You end up being strangers in your own home. And that's not a deep and loving, life connection that allows for more joy. If you've got underlying stuff going on, if you've got things that you need to say to one another, you're better off saying them than just sugarcoating life and pretending like everything's okay, because eventually that stuff is just going to explode. So write letters to one another, communicate, do whatever you can to like really get to the basis of what needs to be healed, of what's being triggered, if there's resentments, what needs to be let go of, because your outside world is a reflection of what you have going on within. So you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. And if you want to get to the bottom of those low frequency negative emotions that you consistently feel, start journaling and asking yourself what's going on with yourself. Like, why do I feel this way? And where did it start? And how do I get rid of it? Help me release it. Ask for universal support, ask for angelic support. We have all this energy that's here to support us, and it will come in, and it needs an invitation to do so. So if you're in this, I have not followed any of my notes. I love when I do this because it's just all over the place. Let's hope that I'm like keeping it consistent. All right. So one of the biggest things we have to do is let go of the responses. The same responses over and over again will continue to get you the same results. If I'm looking at my alcohol journey, I would definitely say, while we were on vacation in this beach house, which is a major trigger for me, vacation, right? Woohoo, we're partying, it's vacation. And I'm not a big drunk girl. Like, I don't get drunk, but I do enjoy a glass or two or three, right? So I made a decision to change my responses. So after my retreat, we had a night that we were all going to go out and have drinks and listen to music. And I just decided that I wasn't going to do that same thing that I always do and I was going to go and have fun, and I wasn't going to drink alcohol. And that was amazing. And then I decided, because I did that I could keep rolling with it. And every night I just decided that I was going to drink my non-alcoholic wine and I was going to have a good time. And that's exactly what happened. I changed my response on vacation, which changed me. I really felt like it changed me. Now, the night that I did have a glass of wine and decided that it was okay to do that was very mindful. I made a decision that I wanted to take part in it that evening, and it wasn't something that I felt like needed to be in at the subject of beating myself up afterwards. It was like, I felt a little bit of the disappointment that I had. I don't know, I had racked up about 40 days of not drinking. And so I felt a little bit of the disappointment of that. But then, after looking into this mindfulness and this moderation and just the idea of all of that, it feels better. It feels better to be in a situation where I'm not doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not having the same responses, and I'm making decisions that are based on what's good for me. What I'm able to have control over is my response. And that's what you have control over. You have control over every single one of your responses, whether you feel you do or not. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you permission. I'm saying you have the ability to change your responses. And your responses are what changes what happens next. So oftentimes our responses come hinged on the fact that we had an expectation about something and it didn't go our way. And because it didn't go our way, we get really frustrated, we get really upset, and we start to kind of temper tantrum. I see this a lot with my kids. And that expectation that things are always going to go your way, and that hard line of living life expecting things to go exactly as planned, will trigger you every single time because they didn't go as you had them planned. On Saturday night, we went to this really cool talk from a Buddhist monk. There's Shay.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. What she's saying is true, guys.
It's my girl Shay.
Love you guys. Sorry.
Oh, she's so great. So we went to this really great talk from this Buddhist monk, and he was sharing about the fact that expectation is the thing that always trips us up. It will always cause this frustration. And he was talking about traffic, and he was saying that he actually lives in LA, and he was coming down and he was getting really frustrated with traffic. He's not used to traffic. He doesn't usually commute. And it was really like tons of cars and a lot of overwhelmment. And he felt himself being very anxious and coming into these talks extremely anxious after being in traffic. So he started looking at the whole traffic situation, and he realized that there were 5 different roads that went into this one road. And he was like, well, of course there's going to be traffic. All these roads are coming into this one road. And so he accepted the fact that there was going to be traffic. And then he decided that instead of getting angsty and frustrated about the traffic, that he would start sending love to people while he was in traffic. In fact, somebody asked, how do you meditate in traffic? You're not supposed to close your eyes. And he said, you basically just share love and compassion with people, especially like if they're cutting you off. You just say, I wish for them to be happy. I wish for them to get there safely. I wish for them. This is like mastery. If you can do this during driving, this is mastery. So one of the things I took from that talk was the expectation of our day always going well. And see, this kind of can go against law of attraction, but I think I made a new connection to it, because if you expect things to go wrong in law of attraction, you'll absolutely create that, right? This is more about acceptance. It's about accepting that when things don't go my way, it's okay. It's accepting that when I wake up in the morning and I don't feel super great and maybe I'm feeling super low, it's okay. I'm not going to resist it. I'm not going to resist my negativity. I'm not going to beat myself up for my negativity. I'm not going to make my negativity worse. I'm going to accept what's going on, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with it, instead of beating myself up, going further into that rabbit hole. I'm going to stay above it. I'm going to navigate it through my patient acceptance of it. And then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do next with it. So you can be in traffic and you can feel helpless and powerless and pissed off and frustrated. But guess what? I just feel like that makes traffic worse. That's dense energy in the field. If you want to lighten the energy, if you want to shift the energy, put on some good music, put on my podcast, put on something that makes you feel a little bit lighter. Change your energy, change your mind, change your response, and you will change your life. I mean, that's such wonderful advice. Another expectation that I recently had was, we were at this beach house, and I got a bunch of girls, and I love, love, love my girls. I absolutely love my girls. And when we're all together, things can get a little intense and a little dense. I'm not going to lie. Like, we're not a perfect family. You're going to see my family photos come out and you're going to go, geez, this family is just so happy all the time. And it's not true. If you've been listening to my podcast, it's not true. So, I'm not going to share which girls had an argument because I feel like that's too much privacy, but there was a huge blow up right before family pictures. Yeah, right before. Which actually I think lended to better family pictures. I'm not sure, because it's kind of like all the dense energy came out and then we were lighter, because these family pictures we just did are like the best ones we've ever done. So can't wait to share those. So they get into this, 2 of my girls get into this huge fight. I come off the beach, like fully expecting to just jump in the shower, get ready for pictures. And I have tended to, in the past, have some anxiety over family pictures. We do them every single year. Every single year, I turn into a bit of an idiot. And I've been working on that. So I decided this year I wasn't going to do that. I had an amazing photographer that I've worked with on my social media stuff, who I adore, who makes me feel comfortable, who makes me feel, good in my skin. And so I was shifting all of that and deciding that this was going to be different, that this was going to be good. Well, I walk into the house and there is World War III going on between 2 of my girls. Well, my expectation is that we're not going to fight in the beach house, right? Because I had sent out a text message that said, we're going to have all peace and love and light. I did a really good thing. I didn't focus on we're not going to fight. I focused on there's going to be peace and love and light. And this is a big deal for us to be in this beautiful home together. And I really pre-paved that, right? So my expectation is it's all going to go good. But that's silly. When you have a bunch of girls, that's silly. When you have a family, that's silly, because everybody has personalities and things go wrong and things happen and not everybody is enlightened. So I walk in, I need to take a shower. There's people in my shower. There's people fighting over my shower, quite frankly. And I snap. And I haven't snapped like that in a while. I got triggered. And, I'm basically saying this cannot be happening. We're about to have family pictures. How dare you? Going into the whole mom cray. Just mom spat, just spatting everywhere. So this goes on for a few minutes. My husband comes off the beach completely like, what is going on? And he's Mr. Calm. He really is. He's pretty amazing. And he wasn't always like this. Like he's really worked on being the calm force in the family. So he, takes one child down and calms her down, and he's always really good with every one of them. They just listen to him, and he just says the things he needs to hear, they need to hear. And everybody calms down. We get all dressed. We go out to the beach. We have a wonderful time. Everybody is stellar at the pictures. Everybody's having a great time. You can see the joy on the faces, the whole thing. That was the last issue we had in the house. And I tracked it back and I said, and I didn't drink that night, which is pretty amazing as well. So I avoided that trigger. So patting myself on the back there. I tracked it back to what happened and why I did that, because I haven't done that in a really long time. I've really been very calm when this stuff is going on. Last year, on my birthday, my girls had an issue, and my husband and I were literally like underneath the shrapnel, was like flying overhead, and we were just totally calm. This time, what I realized was my expectation was really out of control. Like it was my expectation that really triggered me to, this needs to be perfect and these family pictures need to go off without a hitch. And it was great. It was really great. It was a great awareness for me. It was a great awareness for them. I felt like their relationship really moved in a better direction because of all of that. And everybody had some sort of awareness that led our family to being closer and having a better experience. So, you may have these moments that are not perfect, and you may have these big family blowups, and you may feel like all is lost, and it's not. Everything that's going on in your life right now is to lead you to more. It's to lead you to your power. It's to remind you of who you are as a creator. And it's not meant to put you down. It's not meant to put you under. So take a pause right now, do some journaling, do some meditating, and realize that whatever big problem is in front of you, and maybe it's not a big problem, maybe it's just a yucky attitude, right? Whatever that is causing you pain, recognize that you are focusing on it in a way that's creating this perception of pain. It's not allowing you to reach anything else. Yesterday, when I was literally looking over that rabbit hole, I looked up and I saw my beautiful husband and I saw my beautiful home. And I saw that I could do some things to make my home better. And I decided that dipping into that rabbit hole was not something that was going to serve me, and that I could just ease myself back into a state of feeling good, of feeling better, of feeling okay. We don't always have to feel massive amounts of joy to live a satisfying life. Sometimes it's just being okay with the okay. Sometimes it's just like navigating through a family day where you're just all hanging out at home and you're feeling a little stir crazy and you're feeling a little bored, and you decide that you're going to do something that feels good. Read a book, take a bath, watch a funny show, that you're going to do something that bonds you together in these relationships, that allows you to feel a connection. Connection is, I believe, one of the biggest ways that we get ourselves out of ourselves. We get ourselves out of ourselves. This Buddhist monk the other day was talking about how anytime we're in misery, it's because we're focused on me, my countries, my freedoms, my powerlessness, my, you're not paying attention to my feelings. It's me. And the greatest way to overcome that is to start doing for others. It's to start loving from a place of wholeness instead of lack. It's doing outside of yourself. It's deciding that life is more than just about me, that life is really about a grand scheme of a journey that is being laid out for you, yes, but not against you, never against you. Your condition is for well being. It's to steady yourself. It's to calm yourself. It's to come back into zero state awareness so that you can uncover these intuitions and promptings of what's next for you. You may just be in a great pause. I've spent years in pauses, let me tell you. And you know what those pauses did for me? They did this. They did this podcast. They created such a strong desire in me that I couldn't be quiet anymore. I couldn't lay on my couch anymore. I couldn't just grocery shop and take care of the kids anymore. I needed something more. I needed to create. And now almost every day I wake up, I mean, just about every day now with my writing, I wake up every day excited. I'm excited to write. I'm excited to share. I'm excited to see what comes through. You have the ability to do that, whether you're a writer or an artist or a singer or a songwriter. Whatever it is that calls to you, there is a reason for that. And answering that call will always bring you to more. It will always give you that little sense of fulfillment and help you to feel like you're not just, waiting to die. It doesn't matter how freaking old you are. It doesn't matter if you're, struggling to pay your bills or living in a tent. It doesn't matter where you are. The truth is, it only matters where you're going and what you decide for yourself today as far as the energies, vibrations, and frequencies you're going to tune into. So, let me just look through real quick to make sure I didn't forget anything important because there was a lot of tangents going on. I gave you guys a lot of stuff today. I think reminding ourselves of what's going right is one of the biggest things that shifts the energy field. I think we can often forget about how far we've come, and we can often forget about what we're receiving from something when we start to get a little bit miffed about it, when we start to get a little bit frustrated about it. So keep in mind that the manifestation process is hinged on your responses to life. So as you focus, that is what expands. So if you keep focusing on what's going wrong, or you keep focusing on what you want to fix about other people, and you keep focusing over and over again on what's not working, that will be the condition of your life. That will be the tendency of the energy to unfold in your life about the things that are not going wrong, about the things that you're worried about the things that you're concerned about. If you want to take that power back and really become a powerful creator and have things start to go well for you, you have to begin deciding every single morning and set yourself up for success. Meditate, journal, take a bath, take a walk, do the things that really feed your soul. And if you're in a situation where you're caregiving right now and it doesn't feel like you have any time to do that, you've got to shift that as well, because overgiving and obligation is going to suck the life out of you forever and ever and ever. And it will never give you back what you're giving to it. Because oftentimes that giving it comes from resentment, it comes from powerlessness, it comes from a place of feeling like you have no control. So if you're in a situation where you've got that caregiving going on, you have to schedule time for yourself, because losing yourself in this process, yeah, you're going to come back. You're going to figure it out. You're going to become more. I mean, I was stay-at-home mom for like 27 years. I'm still a stay-at-home mom. Like, it can be a long journey, but everything that I've done up until this point has led me to become more of who I am. So you're never going to be lost forever. You're not going to get to the end of your life and say, I never did anything with it, because you're listening to this. If you're listening to this, things are becoming unhinged within you. You may be blowing up your life. Who knows? I kind of hope you are. Because if your life is just status quo and it's not feeding you and it's not allowing you to really live your truth and your dreams, then it's time to blow that shit up, because you deserve more. You deserve to live a life of joy and happiness. And that is my driving force behind this podcast, is to show you that no, I am not perfect, that yes, I have bad days, that yes, my family fights, all those things, and I still live a fantastic life. And the reason for that is I've decided to take my power back. I've decided to live my dreams, to move to where I want to live, to um, take every day and take stock in that day and decide what I'm going to do with it and how I'm going to feel about it and what I'm going to create. And you can do it as well. So, I think that's it. I think we've covered just about everything. If you have questions, you can hit me up at livelifegolden@gmail. I do have a few announcements that I'm excited about. So I'm looking for reviews on my book. So we revamped Quantum Speak. It now is spelled correctly, Mindful Manifestation Secrets. You can find that on Amazon. I will again have printed copies that I can sign and mail to you if you're interested. I also have free copies of the digital version. If you can do that for me, if I can give that to you and you can give me a review on Amazon, it would really help me. I'm looking to get about, I think I need 18 more reviews or something like that. So I need reviews for this book to actually do what I paid for it to do. So that would be awesome if you could do that. Also, if this podcast is resonating with you, if you are feeling like hell yes, if it is shifting your energy and helping you to feel better, or it's just planting new seeds within you, please share it. Please share it, because to grow this, I need you guys. I need you guys to share it. If you are receiving value from it, I don't get paid to do this. I believe in the currency of the universe. Absolutely. I believe in law of compensation. Everything I put out is coming back to me. But the truth is, every week I do this, I sit down, I give, and the value of that would be growth. It really would. The exchange of value would be the growth. And I also have a show on YouTube where you can watch the live video version. So coming up very soon, I'm super excited. I just made a decision today. So I am launching an online event. It's a master manifestation course. I think that's what it's called. I should really know the names of the things that I'm launching, right? I actually just posted it. It is the Mindful Manifesting course. So it's going to help you to become more mindful. It's going to help you to become more aware, and it's going to help you to become a more powerful manifester. This will be an online event that I have decided to share live as well. So if you are in California, Southern California, and you would like to be a part of that, contact me at livelifegolden@gmail, and I will send you all of the information. It'll be on Facebook soon, how to sign up. So the online event will be the course. I'll have some writing prompts, some guided meditations. There's going to be a huge bit of value in that. And I can't even remember what I put it up for to charge. I can't remember. That's ridiculous. But I have a sales page up, so I will post that soon. The mindful manifestation course that's going to take place in my house will be more money, because I actually have an incredible woman coming to do sound healing. We had her at our retreat. It was the most amazing sound healing session I've ever been through. So I'm inviting her into my home, and I'm inviting you, if you're here, into my home. I'm going to do that mindful manifestation course, and then she's going to do the sound healing. So it is going to be like jam-packed with amazingness. So let me know at Live Life Golden if you want me to put you on the list for that. Only going to be able to take a certain amount of people in both things. I believe there'll be probably a cutoff, but we'll see. And that, I believe, the video course, the online event, I believe, is October 18th, but more information coming. See, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. And if I don't do that, I don't create. So I just throw stuff out there, and then I figure out all the details later. So I like to just let people know that I'm working on stuff, and then the details are coming later. The live event will probably take place in the beginning of November, because I have a lot of weekend stuff coming up, and I wanted to do it on the weekend. So I think that's going to work on a Saturday, but we'll see when our sound healer girl is available. All right, that is my show for today. If you can help me review, let me know. If there are questions, if you have stuff you're working on manifesting, let me know. I will address it on the show. I love doing stuff like that and co-creating with others. All right, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Peace.